Salutations, Dota fans. This is the camera angle, obviously a little bit off, but welcome in once again to episode 4 of Reported. This is our a little bit later than usual episode, and I have no idea if that's coming through, but yes, someone buzzing the door. The timing's phenomenal here, isn't it?
Yeah, everything
went perfectly. I think we all scripted it that way.
Exactly.
Actually, guys. Us being ham-handed aside, a lot to talk about, but mainly one big topic we're going to be covering with our two guests. We're going to have Mstco and SmAsH on from Revenge. And, you know, before we start moving through to the Around the World segment and all of that, I just wanted to toss it to you because this has really been the forefront topic for the majority of people in the Dota community, viewers, players, casters alike, is how things have kind of just gotten crooked when in terms of the qualifiers, because Revenge is just a small part of it. There's were issues, and Sun Tzu actually wrote a very insightful article. Some agree, some disagree, and we'll touch on that some. But let's stick with Revenge for the moment, since that is going to be our two guests. You manage Dota professionally. It's your full-time job. The big problem here has been roster stability, roster issues, and communication. Right. As a manager, how do you keep that from happening? Like, who? I hate to put it this bluntly, but where does blame lie here?
Oh man.
Put you on the spot a little bit.
Where does this is hard to say without knowing how communication was handled, or how much contact there was between, I guess, Valve and the teams. I can speak as to how it was between EG and Valve. Obviously, with us, we have a fairly direct line to them. So, I mean, communication between, I guess, some of the bigger name teams, the direct invites, and Valve is a lot smoother because we've communicated on other issues before, like courier stuff, items, previous invites. So, personally, for us, when before we got our invite, we did have communication with Valve as to, you know, who would be on the roster, like just to make sure this is what it is. And, you know, we told them what our situation is. I don't want to get into the whole Fear Mason injury thing. Just want to say that we have talked about it with Valve, and there was communication on that end. But I guess with some of the lesser known teams that don't have as frequent communication with Valve, this is much more difficult, and this is much more complicated. I guess like there are issues with some of the other teams where they didn't even know that this was going to be the roster or whatever. Talk about that. So I think I want to say blame is put on whoever, you know, decided these rosters, and I guess they didn't consult the teams, and obviously that should have been done.
I think it seems like, regardless, and you know, like I said, phrasing it that way is my fault. It's not about pointing a finger and going, you screwed up, now you pay, and everyone can be angry, because that's not the point. The point is, how do you keep this situation from repeating itself in the future, not just you know, with international future qualifiers, but in general. And, you know, it speaks to an issue that, you know, there's so many moving parts in it too, like the idea that these teams just are so damn volatile, because, you know, when you get down to this tier 2, tier 2.5,
I mean, I think that this just comes down to whoever decides the invites, whoever organizes this thing, they should have, you know, like, you invited these teams, I guess you have some idea of who they are.
You should.
Reach out to them beforehand. And that's all it comes down to. Have people doing this that can connect with these teams.
How much of the onus is on the manager to take the lead there? And you can talk to anyone. You know, we work around Dota enough to know that there is a little bit of an intimidation factor whenever you're like a tier 2 team or someone who's not super well known in Dota. You don't just want to be blowing up Valve, be like, hey guys, pay attention to me, because you don't want to make them angry. You don't want to get on their nerves. But when you're in a situation like this, where you are in a position to play in a very prestigious tournament, even if it is just the early sections, and even if you don't make it to the main event, at what point do the managers have to be the ones who are just like, hey, I'm representing my team. I don't care if we have 8 sponsors.
I think the moment that you know that there's interest in you, or that you're invited, that's the moment where you should be like, hey, we're on this list, but we've never been contacted. Let's sort this out. So, you know, the moment that you know that something could happen, it's like, as a manager, it's your job to get in front of problems.
And you know, I've heard you say that multiple times. And even off the camera discussions we've had about, and I won't go into specifics, but roster issues that have plagued other big teams and situations that maybe haven't looked to this. That's the phrase you always use, which is get ahead of these things. Let's just for a moment imagine you're Revenge's manager.
Okay.
Walk me through. Let's say you knew you were on the radar, and that's the thing. We don't even really know how that process goes.
Yeah, we don't.
But how would you, to the best of what we know and what has been publicly released, have handled the job of managing Revenge as the qualifiers begin to assemble?
It's just as soon as you know that that Valve is interested in your team or that you're going to get an invite to the qualifiers, and this is something that I think they should have known because everyone had them pegged as this is a definite invite to the qualifiers.
Right.
I mean, after their name was announced, they were like, these guys could be top 4.
Yep.
So I think, you know, as soon as you know, you hear anything about this, you try and get a line to Valve and be like, hey.
And hopefully we'll know more about that after we talk to them.
Right. And I do want to say that this is a very complicated issue.
Oh, of course.
A lot of this stuff hasn't been done before.
Yep.
Managing, organizing all of this is, I mean, people are going to make mistakes.
Oh, of course.
There's no like guidebook or anything.
Right,
like I've probably made so many mistakes doing this, and it's just something you try and minimize and learn from.
Well, I think we're gonna get a much better insight. Again, our guest tonight will be Mstco and SmAsH from Revenge. We're going to get word on that, and we're going to go over some of the other things that have come up. And if you haven't read it, I recommend just for the sake of discussion, a great On Gamers article written by Sun Tzu about the fact that this Revenge thing is kind of a small piece of a bigger issue that is largely centered around communication. So we'll be discussing that. I'll be talking to the guys from Revenge to find out how they feel going into the qualifiers because you know this has to have a huge effect on them. Like I mean, the team basically broke up. And they were so distraught. Like as a guy who works with players who care as much as anyone, like, it's understandable why they would break up. What effect do you think that's going to have on their mental state coming in, even though they were a favorite?
It really depends on how strong these players are and what their focus is, what their environment is like right now. I think in their shoes, I would say we're here right now. The things that have happened in the past, it's in the past. We have this opportunity in front of us. Let's make the most of it. These are the tools that we've been given. Let's go.
Well, I think we've covered the base for now, and again, we should get a lot more insight looking ahead to our conversation coming up with Mstco and with SmAsH. That's going to be kind of fun anyway because we're going to have a translator, and I honestly have no idea how.
I mean, I'm really interested in talking to these guys. Like we don't hear that much about them.
Everyone talks to Puppy and to Dindy and to Fear. Let's talk to these guys who, I mean, they have looked really good. And granted, it's not like I've casted them or seen them a ton. I don't think most people have.
Well, let's get them on the line.
Yeah, we'll get them on the line here in just a minute. For now, I think we're ready to span the globe, our weekly rundown segment, and just taking a look at everything that's been going on in the world of Dota. And of course, even though we just talked about it, you gotta give more of a well thought out approach to it to inform our viewers as to what has happened with Revenge. The big story, of course, is not just Revenge, but everything that comes along with that. It took shape earlier this week when Revenge was forced to withdraw from this year's International American Regional Qualifiers due to attempting to alter their team's roster. And I just realized we probably had like a 10-minute conversation that may have gone over a lot of people's heads if they don't know a whole lot about the direct situation. But the central issue was that Revenge had tried to submit a roster which included Iwo Behar Kalinowski, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher these, so apologies right off the bat for butchering the pronunciation of a lot of these last names. But yeah, they wanted to get Iwo in as a stand-in for Benjamin Benjaz Lanao Barrios, even though Iwo was already in the qualifiers as the captain of Union Gaming. So the shakeup, whenever they lost their original invite as a result of this, came not only as a shock to the Dota community, but the team itself, as we mentioned, shattered. You had SmAsH leave as well as Mstco, and they claimed that they made no beefs about it. They were leaving as a result of losing that invite. But it was today the news broke that they would be back in just in time for our show. So thanks a lot for that, Valve, giving us the heads up. But it seems that a positive turn without a doubt. They can only reclaim the qualifier spot though with the stipulation that they do so with their original roster, which is composed of Mstco, SmAsH, Mstco, Mihawk, and Benjaz. Now, as of press time, and I had to commute into the office and everything, maybe I missed it, but as of right now, Ben Jazz still hasn't confirmed that he's willing to play.
No, he's confirmed.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He's confirmed. They're in.
Okay,
They're
so
in.
I was on the way into the office. Excellent. So Revenge will be there, and they'll be joining the full field, which I thought it was kind of a nice touch that they expanded the field instead of
it'll be interesting to see how they do the bracket with, or how they do it all, but, whatever.
Right. The full field will be Union Gaming, Sneaky Nyx Assassins, No Earth Spirit, Isurus Gaming, Team EHUG, CMD Esports Club, Team Liquid, Shadows of the Past, North American Rejects, who just got a pretty big win, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
Yes, so we'll talk about that. Top 5 and Revenge Esports. So they're all going to get back in it. But so, for the most part, it sounds like fairly decent resolution, you think?
Yeah, decent. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're back in. I think they would have rather played with EWO, and I mean, it's not perfect, but I think at this point, everyone will just be like, all right, we'll take it.
Right. We'll talk again, and I'm really looking forward to talking to them just about the mental state they're in. Who knows how honest they'll be. I doubt they're going to come on and be like, oh, dude, we're just really in a bad place right now. Like, nobody says that.
We'll see.
Yep. But looking at the other qualifier policy woes that we saw, aside with the hubbub with Revenge, the implementation and enforcement of Valve's qualifier rules and policies has highlighted many other situations in which communication with teams seems to have been lacking. Examples include Hyper Glory Team running into health headaches with mid-player Kaka, who's slated to be replaced by former Vici Gaming mid CTY. That created a similar situation to this, the original roster and all of that. It sounds like, though, that Valve is working with them directly, and I haven't heard anything else back from that if you have. Nothing? No. Okay, cool. So just making sure I'm not behind on the times. Then He United was actually originally invited with an old roster based on what would seem to be out-of-date information regarding their team listing on Join Dota. So just a bad listing caused a headache for them, and they had to get their story straight so far as who was leaving, what the official roster happened to be, and so on with that. And then you also had a problem with Tongfu, as they had made a roster shift, but they hadn't played, so no one knew, and then they get invited with their original roster, and in the process of doing so, they run into the same problem, and everyone's smiling. We'll just act like
we'll ignore him.
Yeah, the headphones gnome did not just rob our desk. But yeah, so they had done this before the invite went out, but because there was no pre-discussion with them, and this one kind of strikes me, I think, as the oddest, is the idea that they got the invite without so much as a, hey, can we talk about this a couple of minutes early? Like, to me, that's the one that jumps out, don't you think? Yeah,
that's incredibly strange that nobody contacted them, or they weren't, asked about their roster or how they were, or even if they wanted to play. Like, I think a lot of things were taken for granted here.
Right, and this is, again, all part of kind of a bigger picture, and I think it's worth all of us talking about. And I hope when we have our callers call in that they'll be willing to sound off and give us their opinion, because that's always going to be important. But again, a nice write-up about this, and it stirred up a lot of controversy, both for and against, and a whole lot of finger pointing in both directions. But it was written by a guy named Sun Tzu, who works at Johan, who actually called in last week.
Holy Master also did his own piece on this.
Yep, I forgot about that one as well. But I like what he said. I won't say that I necessarily... It jumps out as kind of summing up the way I think that a lot of people feel about the overall issue, which is, to quote his article, the problems that we're seeing here as a result of a policy of inviting teams first and asking questions later, even when the state of the team is not directly clear based on recent official games. And I think that really kind of condenses it. All of these issues are the result of invite first, ask questions later. Yeah. And, obviously there are problems, but again, it comes back to our conversation before as to at what point do the managers take the lead, and at what point do you say it's Valve's responsibility?
I think this is on everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody just needs to communicate better.
Moving on from that, as I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk about that with our guests, we also have the Summit taking shape on the horizon. Their much anticipated home story style cup tournament has gotten underway in the past week. We're already beginning to see the big picture in all regions take shape. The Asian qualifier has already concluded with Vici Gaming besting New B 3-1 in a revenge match grand finals after fighting their way back from the lower bracket, in which they found themselves after falling to New B in the second round of the bracket. Vici looking pretty good.
Yeah, it'll be. They had some rough times lately, but it'll be good to see them again on that.
Across the pond, the European teams have completed the round robin stage with Dog, Power Rangers, Fnatic, and Rocks all advancing. The resulting playoff bracket is a little over halfway complete, and Dog and Fnatic both won their matches and knocked Rocks and PR down to the lower bracket. Who you like there?
Dog.
Dog. Sticking with it. Still sticking with chalk everywhere. Just pure chalk.
Are you serious?
I bet you have the most boring tournament brackets come March Madness. I bet they're terrible. Can I 1 seeds every time.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
So we have a Office Dream League pool, right?
Oh God.
Right.
I haven't checked that in weeks. I haven't had time.
You think I have time?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Okay.
Oh,
Our
God.
Office Dream League standings. Who's first?
I honestly don't know.
Who's first?
I honestly don't know.
I'll give you a hint. He's sitting right next to you.
Okay,
He's sitting
so
right next to you. Conrad is not sitting right next to you. I'm first, you asshole.
I don't know. What place am I even in?
You're last. I'm playing you this week.
I got
You're last.
busy. I got busy.
We're all busy.
I'm busy.
All I gotta say is get fucking dunked.
Yeah. Enough about that. Well, did we ever make a bet for that? I think we talked about it.
Yes, it was. We have some stupid bet where whoever gets first place gets my job.
Really? I thought it was a negative bet we made. Like the person that comes in last, and I'll abide by it. The person that comes in last, I think everyone else in the league.
It's something stupid. Like it was all centered around like stupid shit that I have to do. If I get last, I have to eat Subway or something.
You bring that on yourself a little bit.
It's not on me. It's on them.
I wish we could pull the image that Colin sent out that one day with your face photoshopped onto the guy holding a Subway card.
Can we talk about Dota?
Yeah, let's keep spanning the globe. How about we do that? And finally, in the summit, the American qualifier was completely dominated by Evil Geniuses, who went 7-0 in round robin play and won 2-0. Not a homer at all, no bias, and won 2-0 over Liquid in their first upper bracket match. They're joined in the playoffs by the aforementioned Team Liquid, Sneaky Nyx Assassins, and NAR. Sneaky Nyx Assassins likewise won their first playoff match, downing North American Rejects 2-1. To send them to the lower bracket where they just met Team Liquid.
And they won 2-0.
Yeah, I didn't really catch that. I was in transit.
Yeah,
was it as bad as Legend tells?
I mean, it was like it was back and forth at some points, but I never felt like Liquid didn't look like the favorites that they should have.
Right. What's the issue, man?
Man, this is a huge can of worms that I don't think I can open all of them and show them on air. It's really complicated.
Right.
I would say I do want to say though that a lot of the flack that the players have been getting, TC and Way2 especially.
TC's been getting hammered.
I feel like a lot of it's unfair and somewhat undeserved. I mean, nobody really knows what it's like in their Skype or in their TeamSpeak or whatever. No one knows what the communication is like. And I feel like it's a little disgusting, all the flame that they get.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at these players, TC, Way2, Demon, Quakevo,
Former heroes.
At some point, they've all been exceptional.
Oh yeah, and still are, really.
Yeah,
like they've all show you a
exceptional.
Great moment.
TC was the rock of Team Liquid at TI3.
Oh, by far.
I don't remember, like, with that old roster, I don't remember a time where he had a really bad game.
Right.
Way2 on Dignitas, there's no way we would have gotten anywhere close to where we were without his leadership.
Right.
He captained that team. When things went bad, he had the game plan. He drafted. He did so much.
Yep.
He had that sick Naga sleep steal against Rattlesnakes.
Right.
And Demon, Bulba, Koifa. At some point,
huge playmakers.
Huge playmakers. At some point or another, they've all been really, really good.
Right.
So the problem is, how do you bring that back?
Right.
And that is a question that I cannot
And that was actually what
here.
I was just going to add. Like I tend to ask you these things directly like that because you know the players that have worked with them. I mean, obviously I'm a caster. I know them. I'm friends with them. But in terms of a competitive environment, I'm the guy who's yelling in microphones, whereas you're a guy who, in many cases, has actually worked with these players one-on-one.
I'm bringing bananas.
Yes, keeping the potassium right where it needs. You know they make pills for that. I tried to tell you.
Yeah, I take them. They taste really bad, but
you swallow them. Like, are you chewing your potassium?
No.
pills?
It's like when the thing lands on your whatever. They just whatever.
Nutrition aside, what I was going to say is just as a caster and as a guy who's obviously on the outside looking in, you have to spend a lot more time in team Skype chats. That's why I tend to direct these questions at you in particular.
Right.
It does feel like it's a combination of a couple of things. There's no doubt that the talent and the ability is there. Whenever you watch them, at least to me, it feels like you're watching a team who is just kind of gone flat.
I feel like whenever I watch them, the possibility of them losing despite any lead is very real.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, I feel like they don't have a lot of confidence right now. They're feeling
That's
down
what I mean
on themselves.
when I say flat.
A lot of times they'll get to a good start. They'll play their lanes really well.
Right.
But then after that, it's like nobody knows what to do.
Exactly.
Fear said this earlier this week that it's just like there's no game plan. There's no direction, and nobody knows what to do mid lane.
Well, it's almost like, I mean, and this is a problem that plagued Liquid going all the way back to the Blog Boy scandal.
Right.
Is you kind of get the impression, and again, this is on the outside looking in, that it's hard to put into words. Like, anytime you're working with a team, right, there has to be an enthusiasm that kind of permeates the team insofar as, hey, let's go, instead of being like, we should gank top looks like they're getting too farmed.
Right.
Instead of that, like, let's go wreck this son of a bitch, you know, like that kind of thing.
Sure.
And that feeds itself. It feeds itself into energy, it feeds itself, and instead of it being this flat kind of play, that's the kind of thing that it even on a more physical level, and this applies to all sports, like you're more alert, your reactions are quicker. And I almost get the feeling and have for a while that that's really what's lacking. It just feels like they're struggling to adapt to when things go wrong. They're not really executing at the level you'd think able to based on their experience and their talent.
Right.
So what's the one thing that makes sense and accounts for all that? It's just lack of communication. And I would imagine their Skype chat, you said we don't know what it's like. I just get the impression that it's probably very monotone. Top skill.
Yeah, I don't imagine there's a lot of energy there.
Right, and I think that could be part of the problem. So we'll see if they're able to get it together in time for the qualifiers. For now, though, they're out of the summit. And finally, just to wrap things up, ESL won Frankfurt. And wow, we've actually been talking for half an hour already.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably get them.
Yeah, Frankfurt, I'll keep it short. The field's halfway complete. Fnatic, Dog, and Evil Geniuses fight their way through the qualies. They join Na'Vi and Alliance, and Field will be on the big stage in Germany coming up at the end of June. Our guests coming up next will be Mstco as well as SmAsH from Revenge. They're going to talk to us about what they went through in terms of the qualifier initially falling apart. They're out, they're in, they're out, and back in now, and getting the team back together. Stick with us. We'll be right back with them. And we're back into our second half hour of Reported, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is something that a lot of the viewers are looking forward to as well, actually getting to hear, you know, from these guys to talk about this situation and cover the things that we talked about. So without further ado, how about we go right to the first of our two guests from Revenge. This will be SmAsH, and he'll be, we're actually going to have Carlos Rios, I'm pretty sure is his name, will be our translator. So special thanks to him and, of course, to SmAsH for being part of the show. And just to keep it simple, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. What sort of a roller coaster has this week been, SmAsH? Tell us about the emotional toll this has all had on you and what went into your decision to leave the team and then rejoin.
Hola, hello, Mr. AC. It's a pleasure for both SmAsH and me to be here. Seriously, thank you so much. Thank you too to Charlie. And well, let me translate pretty quickly to SmAsH.
Yep.
SmAsH, ¿cómo ha sido esta última semana para ti en cuestiones emocionales? ¿Qué se siente haber tenido todas estas noticias de golpe, sobre todo en el aspecto que saliste del equipo y ahora estás volviendo? ¿Cómo te sientes al respecto?
Pues fueron muchos sentimientos así como que encontrados, porque fue una tras otra mala decisión, y ahora que después de todo esto me había sentido pésimo, o sea, muy mal, frustrado, y gracias a Ifro, creo, y a un amigo de Mstco, pudimos volver a las qualifiers internacionales, y eso es algo como que muy refrescante y lo agradezco totalmente. Es algo muy bueno para mí.
Sí. Well, SmAsH is practically saying that it was horrible because they were on the qualifiers. Then the news was like a big shock for him. He was feeling pretty bad, and when he got the the second chance to be here on the qualifiers for the international. It was a lot of mixed feelings because he was leaving the team. They were like practically disbanding, but now that they have the chance, thanks to IceFrog, thanks to a friend of Mstco, he's trying to get things together so they can be ready and prepared for going to the qualifiers.
That's a great answer, and that really kind of followed up to my next question. Is I can't imagine how disappointing it was to get the news that you weren't going to get a chance to be a part of the qualifiers. So, I mean, just kind of walk us through that if you can, just for a minute. Like, what was that like? Like, what went through his mind when it felt like that had been snatched away from him?
Yeah, of course. ¿Qué sentiste exactamente en el momento en que te enteraste? ¿Cómo fue que te enteraste que no ibas a las qualifiers?
Pues, como te digo, fue muy frustrante. Se me vinieron a la mente muchas cosas, muchas decisiones, muchas malas decisiones que se tomaron. Y me sentí muy mal, frustrado. Esa es la palabra, muy frustrado. Tú sabes cómo me sentí.
He's practically saying frustration is the word that he will describe in just one word is frustration. He was shocked. He was, in the moment, he was actually pretty frustrated, feeling pretty bad, and he was about to make a series of choices that may or may not be the right choices, but now that everything is like settled down, he feels a lot more comfortable, and the frustration seems to be like going away.
That's he's actually jumping me in a lot of these questions. I love these answers we're getting, so thanks again to you and to him. If you're just tuning in, this is Carlos Rios, who is translating for SmAsH from Revenge Esports and we're asking questions regarding their out and then back in for the Americas qualifiers. But to keep things rolling, that was kind of where I was going to go with it. Is what kind of looking ahead to the qualifiers, which are going to be beginning soon. What state is he in as a player, and what kind of an effect has this had on the team as a whole emotionally?
Yeah. ¿Cómo afectó esto al equipo en general? ¿Cómo se sienten de cara a las clasificatorias como equipo?
Disculpa, Soto, repíteme la pregunta.
Sí, no te apures. ¿Cómo se siente el equipo en general de cara a las clasificatorias? Ahora que ya tienen la posibilidad de volver a ir, ¿cómo se sienten en el sentido anímico, emocional, como un equipo de cara a la clasificatoria?
Bueno, primero, por favor, agradecerle a Jace y a Charlie por la invitación. Y bueno, con respecto a la pregunta, pues muy animado. O sea, yo estoy muy animado. De hecho, todas las malas decisiones que tomamos antes, pues obviamente quiero dar el 100 ahora. O sea, todo lo demás, todo ya pasó. Ahora dar el 100 y a jugar como se debe.
Exacto. Well, first of all, SmAsH is saying thanks to both of you, AC and Charlie. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to be here on the show. It's really a pleasure for everyone here, including me. Thanks a lot. And he's saying past is past. They are ready to, to move on, and they are feeling pretty confident. They are feeling really thankful to IceFrog for the second opportunity, the second chance. They will try their best. They are not thinking about internal issues, about the thing that Ben just was moved out from the team. They feel really confident about this, and they want to give the 110%.
Good.
Great answer. I love it. Before we move on, I'm actually going to get away from all this because I'm sure right now, like you said, it's time to put the past behind you and just focus on the prize. Anything else you want to add so far as the roster, so far as all of that, or you think we pretty well covered it? Just want to make sure because you get kind of quiet.
I mean, it sounds like they're ready to move on, and I think that's what we should do.
Yeah, and again, thanks to you guys for joining us on the broadcast, and make sure you relay that to SmAsH. And we're extremely happy that he took time to spend the day with us, and certainly thankful to you for your services. So enough about what happened there. Let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up, and what I'm sure he cares much more about is which team in the field, other than yourselves, are you really looking forward to facing? Which team do you think is maybe a little overrated and maybe a little underrated looking ahead to the qualifier?
That's an amazing question. Let me go for it right now.
Hey, yes, how about it?
¿Qué equipos piensas que van a ser los más fuertes de cara a las clasificatorias. ¿Con qué equipos están más emocionados de enfrentarse? ¿Qué equipos sientes que van a ser un reto de verdad?
Obviamente, pues yo pienso que Liquid y North American Rejects y SNA, o sea, esos tres equipos he jugado contra ellos y son muy buenos. Pero en sí, en las qualifiers no, es imposible confiarse, así que vamos a jugar al 100. Pero esos tres equipos...
Well, SmAsH is saying basically the three powerhouses of the United States, Sneaky Nick's Assassins, North American Rejects, and Liquid are obviously the teams they're looking forward to fight. They want, really, they really want to fight against these guys, but since these are the qualifiers for the biggest event in the year in the Dota scene, they think every single team should not be like, you should not look down any team in the qualifiers. They will fight equally for every single of the 10 teams.
It's a great attitude.
Yep, it is. And yeah, I'm really, I'm enjoying the hell out of actually getting to talk to you guys, because I mean, let's be honest, you know, South American Dota is oftentimes overlooked, and that's actually plays into my next question is, you know, right now when you look at, like you said, there are some powerhouse teams, Sneaky Nick's Assassin, North American Rejects, Team Liquid, etc. But, you know, there has to be a level of pride that goes into this for the South American teams, especially for a team like Revenge, who has shown that they can compete at a very high level. How much does that play into motivation? Like how much, what's the emotional effect of feeling like an entire country of gamers are behind you and that you're representing their hopes for your region to break into the mainstream so far as competitive esports go and so far as Dota goes?
That's a great question. I can tell you I'm from Mexico, but seeing the Peruvian scene, it's insane. Yeah. The amount of support these guys have is really insane.
Right.
So let me ask right now to SmAsH, ¿qué se siente tener el apoyo de toda una nación, de todo un conjunto de posiblemente lo que podría ser los fans más motivados, más entusiastas de toda la escena sudamericana, latinoamericana de Dota? O sea, ¿qué se siente saber que existe todo este apoyo enorme detrás de ti?
Pues es una presión enorme. Tienes a mucha gente detrás tuyo y esa gente no solo te apoya a través de palabras, a través de la fanpage o de Facebook, sino que en la misma calle encuentras gente y se acerca a ti.
Sí.
Pues es una carga muy pesada, pero la cual tomaré con mucha responsabilidad, al igual que los demás.
He says it's extremely stressful. It's a big burden because it's a whole country that they want to see these guys in the international. He even gets he gets greetings on the street, and
oh, wow.
he's kind of a rock star right now. But he knows it's a lot of responsibility, so he says he's ready. He's ready to get this responsibility to go on, and he feels confident to represent one of the biggest powerhouses in all Latin American Dota.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the most enjoyable interviews I think I've ever done, because I really feel like I'm gaining an insight from this. You know, it's not just the typical, oh, tell me about this situation.
Yeah. Well, the questions are amazing, so it's pretty easy, you know.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. We're going to be having on Mstco next. Before we switch to him, though, and you're going to be sticking around with us, Carlos says Mstco does speak English, but I think he's going to be more comfortable availing himself of your services. But if I want to give SmAsH the chance now, if he has one message that he wants to send to his countrymen, to other South American gamers and Dota players, and to the Dota world as a whole, what would it be?
Of course. SmAsH, te toca. ¿Qué te gustaría decirle a todas las personas que nos están sintonizando, a toda la audiencia de Perú? Muchas gracias a los chicos de Perú que en estos momentos están en el stream. También, pues, a Easy, a Charlie, ¿algo que quieras decir, agregar?
Disculpa, ¿Asador?
algo que quieras agregar, ya sea decírselo a AC, a Charlie, a toda la audiencia de Perú, toda la audiencia internacional que está, lo que gustes.
Bueno, pues a JC y a Charlie, pues gracias por la invitación nuevamente, y a la audiencia y a todos los fanáticos de Revenge, pues que no duden de nosotros, que nosotros vamos a esforzarnos al 100. No prometemos llegar al International, pero prometemos dar lo mejor de nosotros.
Sí. Well, he is first of all saying thanks both AC, Charlie, thanks a lot for the opportunity. He's pretty grateful. And he says they will give all they have in these qualifiers. They will try their best. They cannot assure a spot on the main event, but they will surely give all they have to get on that spot.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, if you want to jump in with a couple.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think more than anything, I'm personally just really excited to see you guys at LAN. See you guys with LAN Ping, because it's been documented before. South Americans always, more or less, always play at a disadvantage. And you guys have shown that even with the ping disadvantage, that you've been able to compete with some of the North American teams. And I'm really excited to see what you guys can do at LAN.
If you could, just kind of pass that to SmAsH, and just to follow it up and make it a question, because, you know, the translator kind of breakdown thing. Put that idea across to SmAsH if you could, because I feel the same way, and I think we're all excited to see that. And ask him how he feels on that topic in particular. The fact that it does seem that South Americans are almost always at an inherent disadvantage, and what a difference it'll be if they can make it to a LAN setting.
Of course. ¿Cómo te sientes, SmAsH, con el tema de siempre esta desventaja particular que tenemos los equipos de Latinoamérica, sobre todo en Sudamérica, del ping? ¿Cómo sientes que ha afectado? ¿Sientes que va a afectar directo aquí en lo que vienen siendo las clasificatorias del internacional? ¿Cómo te sientes al respecto?
Pues es algo que lo que te cuesta acostumbrarte mucho, pero de que afecta sí un poco, pero es cuestión de costumbre eso.
Sí.
En realidad eso depende de nosotros, no podemos quejarnos, sino jugar con lo que tenemos.
Exacto.
Sería lo mejor.
Yeah, he's pretty much saying that, well, it sucks, but it's what we have, so they can't complain. They will always play. Something you have to get on with, because right now there's nothing we can do about it, but they feel pretty confident well, when these qualifiers will begin.
All right, I think that'll close it up, because we do want to make some time for Mstco, who we're again bringing on next. If you could, you want to go ahead and shout out some social media links and that kind of thing, folks who like SmAsH and want to follow him on Twitter, Facebook, or wherever else?
Oh, of course, that would be cool. You can follow SmAsH on Dota. I think it's Freddy SmAsH on Facebook. I'm wrong. Let me check it out. ¿Cuál es tu Facebook, SmAsH? It's SmAsH Dota, right? Like that, just facebook.com/SmAsH Dota. I'm the Azatoth. I'm a Spanish caster from Gamer Studio and DC Cast, we could say in English. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to be here. And algo que quieras decir, SmAsH, un shout out, algunos saludos, lo que sea, ya para cerrar.
Pues nuevamente agradecer a toda la fanaticada, que por ellos estamos aquí. O sea, no solo jugamos por nosotros, jugamos por todas las personas que nos siguen, y para demostrar que valemos, pues.
He says a big shout out to all the community, both Peruvian, both American and international, all the people who have given the support. He plays for every single one who cheers for them. He's saying basically that. He plays not only for them, for the team, but for everyone who supports them.
All right, well, I think you can't end on a better note than that, man. This has been a great interview, guys. Make sure you, again, give our thanks to SmAsH, and hopefully we'll have him back on at some point. We're all looking forward to see how they perform and the qualifiers coming up. So just so we don't cheat him of time, even though we did go overtime a little bit, I do want to bring on Mstco. So can we confirm that Mstico's on the line, as Carlos will be sticking around with us now?
¿Andas por aquí, Mstco? ¿Estás vivo?
Sí.
All right, cool.
Ya.
Sí, muy bien.
Ya.
All right, so we just finished up with SmAsH, and for those who aren't familiar with Revenge and their players and stuff, it's okay, and you're going to have a chance to get very familiar with them looking at the qualifiers as they are in. But Mstco, you're listed as the captain. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So I got to find out. We talked to SmAsH. He was the pretty much, it's uncontested. He's the best player overall on Revenge. At least it tends to be the attitude exactly. But with Mstco, in the leadership role of a captain, I gotta ask, from where you sat as the team captain, How did all this go down with things falling apart, with the invite to coming back together? If you can, because like right now, everything's kind of been cobbled together from tweets and Facebook posts and hearsay and reports and this, that, and the other. I want to give Mstco a chance in particular to go step by step and to take his time and tell us exactly how this situation played out beginning to end.
Como, o sea, obviamente se sabe, es como lo que se dice, SmAsH es uno de los mejores jugadores que hay en el equipo de Revenge, pero tú como en el rol de capitán, AC y Charlie quieren saber paso a paso, desde tu punto de vista, desde tu perspectiva como capitán, como persona que estuvo adentro de todo este proceso, ¿qué fue lo que sucedió desde el comienzo? ¿Cómo se dieron las circunstancias para que llegara a un punto donde estuvieron a punto de ser descalificados de las clasificatorias? Dice que te puedes tomar tu tiempo, que él quiere conocer tu versión.
Ya, lo que sucede es que en primer lugar nosotros jugábamos con Iwo, pero cuando quisimos tomarnos las cosas un poco más en serio, él no tenía tiempo, tenía problemas en su casa. Entonces todos teníamos tiempo y como que eso nos chocó un poco y le pedimos que hiciera a un lado, ¿no?
Sí.
Y probar con Benjas, ¿no? Que estaba free todo el tiempo. Y no sé, probamos con Benjas, al comienzo nos fue bien, ¿no? Sabiendo qué cosas jugaba él, pero luego cuando quisimos como que ampliarnos más en nuestro estilo de juego, en lo que nosotros jugamos normalmente, que considero que a pesar de los throws es un juego agresivo, ¿no? Para mí.
Sí.
Como que pues no nos sentíamos cómodos, pues, ¿no? Con él, porque a veces él tomaba una decisión que iba en contra de lo que nosotros hacíamos o algo así, lo cual no está mal, ¿no? Depende de cada estilo de juego de cada equipo, ¿no? Porque Benjas es un excelente jugador, pero si va en contra de lo que nosotros estábamos haciendo en ese momento, como que nos sentíamos un poco incómodos y empezamos a tener esa sensación de que extrañábamos a Iwo. Pero igual no fue, o sea, lo sentimos desde el comienzo más o menos, pero y seguimos intentando durante casi 2 meses.
Claro.
Y hasta que al final decidimos que era mejor jugar con Iwo, ¿no? Entonces, como a todos nos pareció, nos entusiasmamos con esa idea y como que fue una decisión muy apresurada en ese momento, ¿no? A todos les gustó, a los 5. Le dijimos a Iwo y después nos encargamos de decirle a Benjas, ¿no?
Sí.
Pensamos que no iba a haber problemas porque eran las qualifiers, ¿no? No era el main event. Entonces no sabíamos si tampoco me habían dado una fecha límite o un ¿cómo se dice?
Comunicación, fecha límite.
Claro, no nos habían dicho que iba a haber problemas, pues, ni nada, ¿no? Entonces le dijimos a Iwo y después justo creo que al siguiente día vi que pusieron en el grupo del Skype que Iwo que no se podía hacer cambios. Entonces yo les informé esto a los demás, ¿no? Y tomamos la decisión de no participar en ese momento porque por cuestiones de compañerismo, o sea, nosotros lo habíamos sacado a Iwo y nos sentíamos mal diciéndole que no íbamos a jugar con él las qualifiers. Y él se sentía de la misma manera. Bueno, fue como que una decisión un poco egoísta detrás de nosotros, ¿no?
Exacto,
pero fue claro,
apresurada.
Hope you were taking notes, man.
I get that.
Don't worry, I'm taking notes. I'm not even joking. I'm taking notes, so you will have.
No, this is what we wanted. I'm really happy about this. It's the full beginning to end. So please don't. I'm a jerk for interrupting. Continue.
Ya, entonces. ¿Dónde me quedé?
En lo de la decisión apresurada, les avisaron en Skype de los cambios y tomaron una decisión en el momento.
Claro. Yo envié el mensaje. Es más, me dijo, ¿estás seguro de mandarlo? Y como ya lo habíamos decidido, pues no, me apresuré, eso fue mi culpa y lo mandé, ¿no?
Sí.
Y bueno, pues no, nada más, eso fue todo. Y al final, ¿no? Salimos de la tormenta y bueno, nada más.
Claro, exactamente. Bueno, well, this is probably one of the biggest translations I will have to make, but
it's awesome,
luckily
man.
I got notes, so... First of all, everything starts like a couple of months ago. They had Iwo on their roster. That team, I want to make like a point there. That team has been one of the most stable teams in the Latin American scene. Iwo, Iwo, Mstco, Mihawk, Mstco, and SmAsH. Those guys have been around together for like years. I mean, a whole years, because even from Dota 1. So it came a point where Iwo didn't have the time to dedicate full. Didn't have the commitment to go full time with the rooster, with the team. So the guys took a decision to pick off a new carry who had the time, who had the, well, yeah, most basically this is about time. And Ben just had the time, had the, well, the hunger to be on the team, and they changed Iwo because he was having some troubles in the family, some troubles with the school, so he could have a break, and they got Benjes instead. But then when they start to play, Revenge is known because of their extremely aggressive style early and mid game. Mstco says sometimes they throw, but they feel that's their style, that's the way they like to play. And sometimes Ben just didn't felt comfortable, and the team didn't feel like as one with this particular kind of play. So even though Benjas is an amazing player, they were not like fitting in with the styles, and they started to like miss Iwo. You know, 2 months ago they were feeling this thing like, well, we would like to have our old pal here on the team. So they started in talks with the team about the possibility to get Iwo in touch and Iwo back in the team. They didn't ask. There was no communication for both sides. Not Bob, no Revenge. So they just changed the rooster. Mstco says they knew the problems with LGD, but they were invited to the main event, so they thought it will not be a problem because they were only invited to the qualifiers. But they didn't ask. They just talked about that. So Mstco read in the Skype group with the admins and stuff. He read that you couldn't make those changes, and they took a pretty rushed decision. They thought they speak the four members of Revenge, and they thought this. He said it was a selfish and rushed decision to just say, you know what? No, without Evo we're not playing. Yeah, he's saying he knows it's his fault, but he was the one who sent the message. But he knows he was not thinking things clearly. He knew it was a rush and a selfish decision. So now that they have this, this second chance, they really want to make up for it. They really want to show that they have a lot of support. They didn't took into account all the support, all the fans they had, and now that they know, they know about all these people who put their faith on Revenge, their hopes on Revenge. They want to make things right. With Benjes, they talk about it. They know the situation. They wanna bring their A play. They wanna make things right.
Well, Carlos, man, first of all, you're a trooper. Like, that's awesome.
I feel like I say that.
But I honestly, I think this is actually, I can't stop smiling because, like, one, I think it's really awesome to come out and just say, hey, I screwed up. That's so hard to do, to come out and just be like, this is on me and I screwed up. But the fact that it's all worked out now, and the fact that through it all, there was a positive there.
I'm glad that he realizes that, I screwed up. I didn't think about the other people that were depending on me. And I really like the fact that he knows now, and he's like, I will take this burden. Right. I'll take responsibility for this. You guys have placed your hopes in me. I will, do my best with it.
Yeah. And it sounds to me like it's a situation that could have gone horribly wrong and maybe did get a little crooked, a little sideways for a minute. But in the end, it sounds like you've got a group of guys led by Mstco who is humbled and who is now in a position where he can take on true leadership after, being able to come correct and go, this was on me, guys, but if you trust me, I won't let you out again. And that's a huge motivating factor. But on top of that, it has to be a little bittersweet that even though you had to go through all of this, you did find out just how many fans you have and how much people cared. Not just in your own country, but across the world, that you guys get the spot that we all felt you did. And, I'm going to leave it with that. I'm going to ask one last question because we are actually running over time, and I do want to take some viewer calls. So I just want to give Mstco a chance, though, to talk briefly about how this has affected him as a player and as a person, having to apologize after a mistake, and then seeing all of the outpouring of support that he's gotten from his countrymen and internationally, all of us saying, hey, Revenge is good, they've worked hard, they deserve to be there.
That's a pretty good question, and I just want to add a little bit of myself. You're not so familiar, but Mstco for 2 whole days he was like the public enemy of all Peru. He just said, and I'm quoting him, "I'm afraid to go for dinner outside because I don't want to get beat up in the streets." He said that. So it was rough time for him. I want to say he took it like a champ because it was rough. He was a public enemy because as a captain, he got all the responsibility in his back. But now let me ask your question. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add
I appreciate that. That adds so much context. Thanks.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure, seriously, guys. Místico, ¿qué quieres decir aquí? ¿Cómo se siente, pues, todo este show de lo que ha pasado? ¿Cómo te sientes al respecto de saber que, pues, al final hay mucho apoyo detrás de ti? Sabes que hubo momentos feos, lo de que dijiste que ni querías salir a comer, pero en estos momentos, ¿cómo se sienten de cara ya a la clasificatoria? ¿Cuáles son tus opiniones?
Bueno, me siento que si nosotros como equipo tenemos mucho potencial, siento que si jugamos a nuestro potencial máximo, porque considero un equipo muy inestable, pero si jugamos al máximo potencial que hemos mostrado algunas veces, pues es casi seguro que aunque sea vamos a jugar el repechaje. O sea, para mí, personalmente yo pienso eso.
Sí.
Y bueno, estaba muy alegre, ¿no? Recibí la noticia y, ¿no? Y bueno, pues empecé a, no sé, creo que a saltar o algo así, ¿no? Pues no, pues
de
no
la
sé,
alegría.
¿no? Sí, no, es algo inexplicable, creo, ¿no?
Sí. When he found out they were playing the qualifiers, the second chance, he literally jumped out of happiness. And he feels pretty confident with the team. He says he, as a captain, he has the confidence on his fellows, his team. He knows at least they will get the runner-up. That's Mstico's words. He really feels like they have a lot to show up in these American qualifiers.
I can't wait.
So he feels more like a relief, you know? He feels good, like all this, how could you say, this bad situation has moved for the best for everyone involved. So now he's looking forward to play on the qualifiers and give the best out of the team.
I think Charlie just summed it up. I don't think any of us can wait. And I'm not going to lie. I'm a caster, and I'm going to be casting those qualifiers. But after talking to you guys, it's going to be hard not to pull for him.
I honestly, I can't wait to see you guys in Seattle.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. I'm going to give Mstco same chance I gave SmAsH. If he wants to send out one message to the world, to his teammates, to his countrymen, to everyone listening or everyone who could be listening, what would that message be?
Ni AC ni Charlie pueden esperar a verte jugar. Ellos están bastante emocionados. Dice AC que es complicado ser un caster y ser imparcial, pero que pues sabes que hay apoyo, siempre hay apoyo. Y cualquier mensaje que quieras dar a quien quieras es tu momento de brillar, muchacho. Lo que gustes.
Ya, bueno, en primer lugar quisiera pedirle perdón a toda la gente, ¿no? Por las decisiones que tomé. Yo siempre traté de hacerlo lo mejor que pude, ¿no? No pensé de ninguna manera egoísta en ese momento, simplemente pensé que era lo mejor, ¿no? No fue orgullo ni cosas así. Bueno, pues decirles que, bueno, lo siento mucho y que, bueno, me encargaré de que no vuelva a pasar, ¿no? Nada más.
Claro.
Eso es claro y que gracias por seguir apoyando, ¿no? A pesar de los momentos, las altas y bajas que hemos tenido, ¿no? A lo largo de todo nuestra carrera como gamers, por decirlo así. Y que, bueno, a nosotros, si a ellos les ha dolido, pues a nosotros nos ha dolido 100 veces más, ¿no? Eso
claro.
Y bueno, pues no, nada más. Muchas gracias.
Oh boy, I'm about to cry. He says, first of all, he wants to apologize to every single guy who left down because of the decision. In the very moment, he felt that was the correct decision. That was the good way to go. But we are humans. We can make mistakes. So he really is like, he really feels sorry for all this that happened to the fans, that happened to the scene. He wants to thank to every single one of the guys who has been with Revenge in the good and the bad. As you may know, Latin American scene is not exactly stable. We don't have partnerships. We don't have money to be here. Every single guy who is playing, who is casting, who is involved with the scene is making it because of love of the game, of the scene. So he wants to thank to every single guy who has helped the Revenge in the good and the bad, and he feels he's ready to move on and give the best in these qualifiers.
I don't know that you could have given a better answer, to be honest. Like I said, it's for what it's worth, just having a chance to actually connect with you guys and get to know you and get to hear the passion in your voice and in your answers. You've earned at least one fan here at this desk, and I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least two. I mean, I hope you guys never lose that love, like doing it.
Stick with it.
One little shout out to Nova. He's a friend of these guys. He was ex-pro player in Peru. That guy had a lot to do with the current situation. He and Mstco got this plan together. They sent the last letter, and it actually worked out. We were like, there's no hope at all, but let's just send this last email to IceFrog and let's see what happens. So a shout out to Nova too. That will be it.
Yeah, shout out to him and shout out to you guys. And honestly, I think we're all excited to see you guys get into action, looking into the qualifiers coming up over the next couple of weeks. Same thing as before, social media and all that. Where can they find Mstco and what links are relevant?
Let me check it out. Mstco, ¿dónde te pueden encontrar? ¿Cómo es tu face?
Ricardo Mstco Román, ¿no?
The Facebook of Mstco is facebook.com/mstco, because Mstco is like you're missing the vocals, and it's Mstco Dota all together. Mstco Dota. You can find his Facebook page there. ¿Tienes Twitter?
No. No creo en el Twitter.
No Twitter?
He doesn't believe in Twitter. That's his word.
I've known a few people like that, but tell them to reconsider it. It's a fun way, and I feel fairly confident that based on what we've all heard here today, that there's going to be a few people who want to keep up with you guys. And you know what, Carlos, you're a freaking awesome guy, and you're a trooper. And shout yourself out, man. You've been great here. And don't be surprised if we tap you on the shoulder for something like this in the future.
Oh my God, that will be a dream come true. Seriously, I told you on the lobby the first time I saw you, because I'm a caster too in the D2L. I told you the first time it's an honor, a pleasure to be here speaking with the best caster, hands down, in the Dota 2 scene. Seriously, the Golden Boys, Aaron Chambers. Seriously, thanks a lot. And Charlie, thanks a lot for the opportunity, both for me, for SmAsH, for Mstco. It's really a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been all us, man. Where can people find you, Carlos? Like, where can they find you on Twitter and stuff?
They can find me on Twitter. How do you call that thing? The little A with
the at symbol.
Yeah, at the acetone, like that. Sorry, I didn't know the name in English. And they can find me on Facebook, the acetone streams. Like you just add streams in the end.
Can you spell that?
Thanks. Sure. It's it's so hard. It's on the screen actually, because
I'll see if I can spell
it's the bad thing about picking up stupid names, but you gotta stick with it.
I mean, I get called a Yessie from time to time too. It's at the Azathoth, TheAzathoth. Guys, thank you so much, and best of luck in action coming up next week. Take care of yourselves, okay?
Yep.
Cheers. All right, so that was honestly one of the most interesting interviews I think I've ever done for anything. And that I'm including radio, I'm including my entire broadcast history. And amazing guys. Like that, I just come away from this, I couldn't stop smiling listening to them talk.
I mean, we've gone so far in terms of esports and Dota.
Right.
We have big name sponsors. We have a lot more money than we had before. But these guys, they remind me of that time when we didn't have that. Everything was so much more raw, and they just want to play, and that's something that I feel we lose a little with everything that we've we've accomplished so far, and it is incredibly hard,
it's touching,
uplifting to see that.
It's like if we were having this conversation with most people about something similar, say hockey or soccer or American football or whatever else.
Right.
There's almost this hesitation that you want to use words like touching and uplifting, but there really shouldn't be. I mean, like you said, you and I and the vast majority of everyone who works in esports started out from their freaking bedrooms for no pay and just because you loved it.
Right.
And like you said, you do it long enough that you lose perspective of that, of the grinding you went through just because you cared so much. And then, you know, you get a full-time job and it does become a job and you almost take it for granted. And I think that's what that interview did, is it reminded me, one, how lucky guys like you are.
It puts a lot of things in perspective.
Brings
a lot of
focus.
things in perspective,
Well, guys, we are running drastically over time. We will try to take a couple of calls. We're going to have the screen come up and everything, so I can make sure everything's set up for that. It will be very short user call-in, but we do want to take a few. But seriously, go follow Revenge, and I don't know how you can open pull from forum after hearing all that. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes to field your calls. Stick with us here on Reported. And we're back, and the lines are open. The information should be flashing across your screen here in just a moment as to how you can reach in. This is open lines, and obviously, though, I'd prefer it if people would call in and give their thoughts on that last interview, because I really think you captured it, man. It's like an interview like that, because, you know, whenever we do interviews, like I don't even do that many anymore, and you're usually on the other side of the microphone if you're ever involved. It's always with, you know, people who, like you said, have made it. We've all kind of made it to where we are. And you get used to just talking in that context, you know what I mean? Like everything that you say is framed in that sphere. And then you have this team that all of a sudden is projected into a level of relevance just because of controversy. And then you talk to them, and these are guys who, like,
immensely humble.
Oh, unbelievably so. Unbelievably so.
And they're hungry.
And great ambassadors for the region, I think.
Absolutely.
Like, really and truly. Like, if you know, the stereotypes of South American players is sickening for the most part. We won't get into that. But, you know, even more so than just being good guys, like you said, there's a humility to it. There's this genuine love that, like, and it's so weird because they're speaking in another language, but I think we could even pick it up. Like, when like we didn't understand what they were saying, but the tone is unmistakable. And that came through. And, you know, and on top of their words and everything else, just phenomenal stuff. And right now, the lines are open, guys. So if you want to call and be on the show, now would be the time. We're going to try to take a few calls before we go. But I really hope those guys get further along. I really, really hope so. Because, again, I think they're a great ambassador for not just the region, but for the game as a whole. So hopefully we'll have someone to sound off on that. We're going to Christopher. Christopher, are you there, my friend?
Gaff. And I want to say a couple of things about the whole situation.
Hello?
Hello,
can you hear us?
Oh yeah, the stream's on delay, so I couldn't hear it.
Oh,
so,
no, yeah. Make sure you turn down your stream.
Here.
We're going back to the radio days. Where you got Okay, go for it. Go ahead, man.
First of all, I'm pretty happy that Revenge got their chance back. That's freaking cool. But I think that the mistake was so big, and the feelings of the people, it was like, I mean, I'm cool with what Mstco and SmAsH and Acetoth said. That was a big mistake, but still, the amount of sadness that it was given to the people was too much. And if it weren't for On Gamers and the report on the bad handling of the invites, I don't think this would be possible. And no, I don't actually think that email that they sent asking if they could have another chance didn't influence that much. I think they got a miracle that IceFrog made. And I just think that Ewo should be, I don't know, that guy, holy shit, that guy messed up. Mstco messed up, but Ewo is the bad guy here.
I can detect a lot of animosity in your voice, man. So, like, what would they need to do to make this up to you, to you and to other Peruvians?
Well, I just want them to play the best they can because they don't have it easy. Like, this puts a lot of pressure on them
Right.
and just really just play their heart out, and that's pretty much it. But
Alright.
like I was telling you, I think he was the guy that really fucked up big time, fucking up UG and Revenge at the same time. Well, let's hope for the best, and I think many Peruvians just feel the same way.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing how they perform. Thanks again for your call, Christopher, and
And
certainly.
Can I just want to shout out to all Peruvians. Please, Peruvians, we can play on the South American servers. They have better pay. just do it. Don't fuck up people on US East. If you don't know English, stick to the South American server. Please don't bring more hate to us. Just do that.
All right, there you go.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Christopher. We'll be moving on to another one. That's hilarious, actually.
That's funny.
Christopher was a cool guy. Sounded so mad. Christopher,
I mean, I like the fact that he was so passionate about
Yeah,
it. I think though that without knowing the entire situation, it's difficult to pass judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what it was like?
Well, it's one of those things, especially like a caller like this, like. You know, you get the animosity and you get the anger, but at the same time, you have to be willing to allow for, well, maybe it was a little bit more wrinkly than it seems on the surface. So, but again, that was a great call, Christopher. Thank you, guys, and keep them coming. We're going to be going to an Argentinian now. His name is Blind. Blind, are you there, my friend?
Yes, hello. I'm from Argentina.
Yes,
how are you?
I'm well. Welcome onto the show, man. What's on your mind?
Well, I was here during the whole interview, and I'm very happy for SmAsH, for his team, for Revenge. We have our team going to the international to the qualifiers, but I don't know. I have to feel myself I found myself in a position that if any team of Latin America can have a chance, this is gonna be Revenge. Our team is good, but they don't have the practice, and well, seeing all these, the whole situation that Revenge has been through to get in the qualifiers and all the mistakes they made and all that shit, I think that they're ahead. They have a really nice chance to get into the international. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah,
and,
I would imagine you and a lot of South Americans are going to share your general passion. Like, just as a gauge, all of your Dota playing friends, like, is there just is there a higher level of enthusiasm?
Yes. For Revenge and from Argentina, from Isurus is a team from Argentina that has fallen the qualifiers because of other team had some issues and couldn't make it. So we're very happy. We hope that Isurus and Revenge in one point can find each other in a match. And well, I don't know. We have kind of a how do you call it?
Rivalry.
With your rival. Yeah, kind of enemy, like quotes.
Nemesis.
Yeah. With Peru because of the pub matchmaking and MMR bullshit, whatever. And but we're very happy for them. We're very happy for ourselves, and just looking forward to the qualifiers, man.
Yeah, thanks.
God damn it, give compendium, dude.
Yes, I love the enthusiasm. Thanks so much for your call, Blind. And hearing from these guys it's raising my level of excitement, man. Like, it really is. Like that. I love hearing that. And isn't it just typical, by the way, that that at this point it's Valve basically being Valve, and there were mistakes made, but it turns out even better. 'Cause it sounds like to me like the South American interest is even bigger than before.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant to remove him. Didn't mean to cut him off there. But yeah, like, don't you just love the way that this is?
It's a great story. It's a great story. We're seeing a lot of enthusiasm around that I don't think we would have had normally.
Yep. Sorry about that, Blind. Didn't mean to cut you off mid-sentence. I thought you were actually already off the call and I was moving you from the group. Not being a jerk, just want to make sure we get in as many people as we can. Let's go to, let's see, I have this, here's another Peruvian. Definitely want to hear from them. And welcome in now, his name is Belser. Belser, are you there, my friend?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about?
I just want to say thank you to Valve. Say hello to all my Peruvian friends. I'm Peruvian, like all Revenge.
Yep.
And I just want to say that we're here in Peru. We have been playing Dota like 7 years or since Dota started.
Uh-huh.
Here in Peru, it's like more than a game. It's like just the football team, like the football team of Peru. It's so amazing that Revenge has a chance to go to international, and I just want to say that Viva Peru,
Hey, I love
Viva
it, man.
Peru,
Yep,
and that's all.
like I said, I think I've said this a couple of times. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are rooting for Revenge and for South American Dota that might not have otherwise. Thanks again, Belser, for your call. And I want to continue to move through, so I'm not just trying to rush these people.
It's great to hear how big it is over there.
Do what?
It's great to hear how big.
Yeah, it's like I think we all just kind of get locked into this thing where it's like there's a niche community, or that's the way you think of it. It's just like this small community.
And to hear things like how people in the streets recognize SmAsH and come up to him and all of that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so I think we're gonna make this our last call, and we're going to go to another Peruvian. And this is going to be Ricardo. Ricardo, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely. We got you on the line. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm from Peru and just wanted to say I really feel that passion in myself right now about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, talking about revenge, and actually not even revenge, because we can forget about gaming, and actually Isurus from Argentina. So it's like, I don't know, I'm just a fan. I've been playing Dota for, I don't know, 6 years or so, and it's really amazing. And I can say that, and everyone from Peru will say the same thing. We are just in love with these teams. We just have our passion, our faith, our hope on these teams. And because it's the first time we are going to see a Peruvian team on this kind of event, and it's really amazing.
Well, we hope that's rewarded.
Yeah, and I guarantee you that SmAsH and the other guys from Revenge are probably going to go back and watch the VOD of all this and all these calls we've been getting. Make no mistake, you guys matter, and I know they're going to take a lot from this.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm going to keep him on the line just because I want him to hear your answer to this. How much goes into that as a guy who manages players? When you know you've got your countrymen or your fan base behind you, how much has that fueled it?
Oh, absolutely. It's so big. At TI, when you have that home crowd advantage, everyone is chanting USA, USA. It's really uplifting when you see everyone there supporting you, wanting you to win. It really feels you. You like, if you look at Liquid's win at last year, TI3 over LGD, all of those guys are pretty reserved people.
Right.
And you see, like, when the crowd gets you hyped, and you see Bulba jump out of his chair,
Right.
It matters a lot.
Yeah, I just wanted you to hear that, Ricardo. Thanks again for your call, and I'm going to take one more, actually, just because this guy has been trying to call in from the moment we went live, and it's another Peruvian. So this will be our last call. Welcome on. I have no idea how to pronounce this. I'm going to go Jaher Huerta. Is that it? Or even close?
Oh, hello?
Hello. Welcome to the show, man. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to testify. What was this last night? Yesterday when we found out that Revenge was back. We were like 2 a.m. in the morning, at night, and Jesus, the people went crazy. The people was spamming all around Ben's Facebook page. They were telling them, please Ben, just accept the invitation, please. Jesus, it was. I was awake until 4 in the morning, I think. I was reading news. I was also writing to this manager of Revenge, Darling. It was big time crazy. You don't know how much the people was awareness of this event. Wow, the people are at least in my university, all of them are fans. I declare myself a fanboy of Revenge. Dude, it's, oh my god, I didn't have a hobby before this, but Revenge, I have shirts of Revenge, I have photos with them.
Awesome.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Here in Peru, the fans, when they have something in mind, they won't leave it. They take it to the end.
We're all looking forward to seeing it, man. this string of calls, and this is a great one to end on. Your enthusiasm is infectious, man. Like, I can just feel it permeating this desk. Can you?
Yeah.
Like,
this is really touching.
Yeah, it is. And thank you, man, for your call. And like I said, you're a self-proclaimed revenge fanboy. I can't be whenever I'm on the microphone, but I think whenever I'm not, I think I might be right there with you after this. Thanks again for your call, man, and hope you call in next week. So that's gonna be it for this edition of Reported. Final thoughts on the way out the door, man.
That was really good. I mean,
remarkably good.
I want to say it again. Like we do this. This is our day job. We like.
And it is a job.
Like everything about it is like we got in for the passion, for the love of the game.
Right.
And sometimes a lot of that is lost when when this becomes work, when it becomes, because they're gonna, no matter what you do what you love, but no matter what that is, there are gonna be aspects of busy work, aspects of I don't want to deal with this, or this happens, this is annoying.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that passion for the game that fans have, that when you just want to see your team win, when you want to see your country win, a lot of that's lost in like the day-to-day.
Right.
And this has been a really, really touching reminder of where we all came from.
I kept looking over at you during these interviews just to see, and we were actually looking at the confidence monitor sometimes, since it wasn't so blatant, like staring holes in your eyes.
Right.
But you had that look on your face that I felt like was spreading across mine. This like emotional kind of well up. This kind of this feeling of, and like you said, it's not that you stop caring. We both love our job. We come in every day, and we're unbelievable.
But some of it gets lost.
Yeah. You lose that waking up in the morning and loving the fact that you have the chance to do it. It becomes, this is my job and I'm going to be good at it, and I care about the game and I care about the community. But you end up losing perspective on just how lucky you are, and that you forget how important it is that not only that we continue to do our jobs to serve our community, but to never lose touch with where you came from.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a great note to end on. You can follow us both on Twitter. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. He's at Monolith Dota, M-O-N-O, spell it, I'm terrible.
M-O-N-O
L-I-T-H.
L-I-T-H-D-O-T-A.
Subway.
Why do you have to do this? We ended on such a good note.
We'll hug it out. We'll hug it out. All right, guys, that's it for this edition of Reported. Not sure when we're going to be back. Look at it. It's okay.
Don't touch me.
We'll be back next week, maybe. Actually, I'm going to be at the qualifiers. I don't know if we're going to try to do it remote or if we're just going to be waiting another couple of weeks for when we get back to bring you your next. And it is a collective. So we don't know either. But thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast, guys. Enjoy your morning, evening, or afternoon, and make sure you enjoy some Dota.